It's about proportions versus non-proportional, and we're going to need to be able to identify a proportional situation from an equation, from a situation, from a table, and from a graph. Just to let you know, this unit goes fast. We have 5 days of proportions this week. Then we have a week off. Then we have functions. Then we have direct variation and functions. And then we take a test. So you're missing class. You're going to need to get your notes. You're going to need to watch videos. You're going to need to stay up on what's going on. A lot of you are missing a lot of class. Some of you more so than others, and so it is going to be your responsibility to start keeping up with all of this. We cannot base class around everything else going on in the school. So I understand that extracurricular is important, and I want you to participate in all that, but I'm just saying that we've got to also realize that the academics continue. That's part of your commitment when you sign up for athletics and all the other extracurricular activities that go on, is that you will keep up with your classwork on top of that. So just FYI. Music download investigation. You have been begging your parents to allow you to download music, and they are starting to relent. You have agreed to collect payment information from 2 companies and present it to your parents. eTunes charges 98 cents per song downloaded. Bliss charges $4.90 per month to listen to music and 49 cents for each song downloaded. Use the music download data collection handout to organize your data and make a case for the company you would prefer. Keep in mind that your parents may limit the amount of money you can spend on music. So what we need to do is we need to fill out this graphic organizer. And the first thing they want on this graphic organizer is eTunes. They want us to write a sentence for what's going on as far as eTunes. So what happens with eTunes?
You spend 99%, you spend 98 cents per song.
Okay, so eTunes charges 98 cents per song downloaded. Yes. It should be sitting on your desk. Oh, you didn't have anything at your desk, that's why you don't have it.
Sorry.
There you go. Okay. So, what we're going to do here is we are going to investigate this process. And what we are going to do is we are going to do it for 1 song, 2 songs, 3 songs, 4 songs. So the process is, how would we find out what this would cost us per month? Which is your X and which is your Y in this table?
The Y is the cost per month, and the number of songs is X.
Okay, so number of songs is X, the cost per month is your Y value. That is correct. Okay, so if I buy 1 song, how can I figure out how much that is per month? Okay, so we would have 0.98 times how much? And I'm just going to do this with a parentheses, okay? It's just easier for me to notate on here. Don't get confused with what's a decimal, what's a time sign, and an X, and all those good things that confuse us. So when you have a number or a variable next to another number in parentheses or a variable, you know that you are multiplying. Does everybody understand that? All right. So 0.98 times 1, how much does it cost me for 1 month? 98 cents. Okay. Let's keep going here. 2 songs. So what are we going to do here? 0.98 times 2, which is how much? And then we've got 3 songs. How much? No. Put it in again. 0.98 times 3. What is it, Salmon? Thank you. 0.98 times 4. $3.92. So what is the process here that we're doing? We're multiplying 98 times what? Times x. That's correct. When we want to write an equation for that, how would we write that equation?
Plus 0?
Okay, first off, all equations must have what?
MX.
Nope.
An equal sign.
To be an equation, you must contain a equal sign. Thank you. So y equals what? 0.98x. And that would be our equation for that situation. Okay. Question here. Do you remember from 7th grade, constant of proportionality?
No.
Okay, it was on your 7th grade mathematics chart, and it is not on 8th grade mathematics chart. You just have to know how to find it. You don't get a clue. So you've got to remember this. The constant of proportionality is k equals y divided by x. Okay, k being your constant of proportionality. So in order to know whether this is proportional or not, you need to take your y value and divide it by your x value. And you must come out with the same number all the way down for your k. So if we have 0.98 over 1, what do we get? 0.98, don't we? Okay. $1.96 over 2 gives us what? 0.98. All right, and we need to check them all because the first time you don't check them, that will be the one that doesn't work. For the most part, what we teach in 8th grade math is check the ones in the middle. So if there was 5 numbers here, I'd be checking 2, 3, and 4. If there was, because most of the time it'll work on the first one if it's going to work, but it doesn't necessarily mean they're going to, somewhere in the middle, they'll make it not work. Because they figure you're all the way you are, you'll check the first one and be done. Okay? So don't go with that premise. Check the ones in the middle to make sure it works. And 294 divided by 3 gives you 0.98. And 294 divided by 4 gives you 0.98. So do we have a constant of proportionality? Yes. Okay, so we have a constant of proportionality. Yes. All right. That's a good thing. Now, I need to graph this situation. All right. And in order to graph this situation, I need to figure out where to start. Because my graph has, yes, 1, but I need to know, would it go through the origin? Yes.
Yes, it would.
Oh, 392. I didn't write the right answer. Thank you very much, Salmon. Okay. All right. All right. So let's do this. Let's go 1 and 98 and 2 and 196 and 3 and 294 and 4 and what? 392. Now, I know you don't have a ruler in front of you, okay? Tomorrow you will. If you had a ruler, you could take your ruler and whenever you do these types of graphs, use the side of another piece of paper, use the side of something, but put something on there and run your line from outside at the bottom to outside at the top of the graph. So you're going off the graph. Okay? The reason that you go off the graph is because then you will see, does it go through the origin?
It does.
Okay? Which is at 0, 0, correct? All right, so this one happens to be E tunes. I'm going to identify it as E tunes. All right?
We got a line.
Yes, please. Okay? All right? You use the side of your notebook, all kinds of things will work, okay? All right. Let's look at bliss. What did they tell us about bliss?
It was like so many dollars per month.
It was like $1, I think.
$4.90
$4.90
per month.
Yeah, $4 or something. $4.98.
So if I'm to look at this sentence, this is what I look at. $4.90 per month to listen to music. Is that just like a flat fee?
No.
Yes, it is. It's a one-time, every month I'm going to be charged how much? Okay. Then on top of that $4.90, because this word here is there, and, all right, I'm going to have to pay every time I download a song, correct?
Don't download it.
Okay. I need to just stay on topic here, okay? 49 cents for each song downloaded. So, where is your variable?
For each
For
song.
each song. So here is your variable, and this is a one-time fee. Now, what is our equation in the form of? Remember our slope-intercept form? What is it? Y equals what? Mx plus b. So what parts do I have here? What is the mx?
The 49 for each song.
49 for each song, and how much? $4.90 would be my equation for that. Do you see that? Okay, so we're going to come over here. First, we're going to write our sentence, and our sentence will say, Bliss charges $4.90 per month or each month, however you want to write that, and 49 cents per song. Okay? So we've kind of already written our equation, haven't we?
Yeah.
So let's go down here and go ahead and write that. It's y equals, what did we say?
0.49x plus 4.90.
Okay. And I'd probably leave the 90 on there because I'm talking about money. Does everybody recognize that 0.49 and 49 is the same thing?
Yeah.
Okay. Because that's an important key here, because there's no reason to keep this 0, but you could, okay? It's just holding a place, all right? It's just letting you know you got 49 cents, all right? So here, number of songs, 1, 2, 3, 4, okay? I know I'm going to have how much at the end of each equation?
The same.
So plus 490, I'm going to write that in, plus 490, plus 490, plus 490, okay? And then I'm going to be charged 49 cents for every song. Well, for one song, right? 49 cents when I have 2 songs, 49 cents when I have 3 songs, and 49 cents for each song when I have 4 songs. So I'm going to multiply that. Let's figure out what our totals are. So 49 cents times 1 plus 490. What do you get? Sam, can you please sit up? Please, please, please. You're going to have to sit up, and this is not an activity that you can do like this. You got to be looking at your stuff. Looking in your calculator, people. Okay? Math is not an easy chair. I keep saying that activity. All right? So how much is our cost per month here? How much? I've heard 2 different things. So $5.39. How about if I do 2 songs?
Oh, 5.88.
Okay, somebody else for 3 songs.
Oh. Did I know?
No.
You just like me to ask.
6.37.
All right, somebody else for 4 songs. 6.86. Does everybody concur? Okay.
I think.
All right. No, you don't agree?
No, I don't understand.
Okay, well, that's because you probably came in late. Okay? We are taking 49 cents times 4 songs plus 4.90. Can you put that in your calculator?
What do you understand?
Okay, don't let me help her, please.
Oh, never mind.
You get it? All right. So our process here is we're taking 49 cents times however many number of songs, and we're adding 4.90 to it, correct? Okay? And that's how we've gotten here so far. So we now know we need to figure out whether we have a constant of proportionality. So what am I going to take over what here? Okay. Okay, give somebody else a chance, Cassidy, please. So 539 divided by what? 1. And what do you get? Okay. So what am I going to do for number 2? This is my y and this is my x, remember? So 588 divided by 2. What do you get, Yamileti? What do you get? What? 2.94. Okay. 637 divided by 3. And what do you get? Okay, what do you get? 2.12 repeating? 3 repeating. Okay. Am I coming out with the same number?
No.
So do I have a constant of proportionality?
No.
Okay, that's correct. No, we do not have a constant of proportionality here, do
You
we?
don't have to have one?
Okay. Well, this situation doesn't have one, does it? Okay. So if it doesn't have one, we're going to figure out what that means. So let's go here and let's plot this. All right. So at 1 song, how much was it? $5.39. Ooh, that's kind of hard to graph, isn't it? Probably right in here somewhere, in there somewhere. Let's do 2 songs at 5.88. That's pretty easy. I can do 4 songs at 6.88, can't I? Or 6.86, I'm sorry. So I have at least 2 dots on my graph that are really good dots, don't I? Okay? What is the problem?
Can I say it or no? It's not even, so that's why.
It's okay. All right? Because they would land in between these somewhere. All right? But I can do the 2 and the 4 for sure. I could do the 3 and the 1. It would just be kind of in between there, wouldn't it? So if I wanted to go and I wanted to draw my line for this one, I could connect those 2 dots and come across and come all the way on and off my graph, and it would look something like this.
How about you have to have 3 dots?
And this is bliss, not necessarily. Why would you have to have 3 dots? Well, I actually have 4 dots. I put this one in between and this one in between. Do you see how that works?
Okay, yeah, now I get it.
Okay? And I could go and I could figure out how much it was. Based on this, I'd probably choose 6 next and figure out how much it was. I could get another dot to make sure. But this gives me a close enough picture. Don't you agree?
Yeah.
All right. So what's different about these graphs? That's my first question.
They're at different angles. Yeah.
There are different angles, okay? What about, does bliss include the origin?
No, it comes with the y-intercept.
No, it doesn't. Do you remember something about me telling you something about an equation when you have y equals mx? Where is the y-intercept?
The b.
At what? What value would it be for that equation? Do you remember?
The b.
If we don't write the b, what is it?
It's just an x.
So if I wrote y equals 4x, where's my y-intercept?
0.
At 0. It's at the origin, isn't it? So if I have an equation that's in the form of y equals mx plus or minus b, is it going to be at the origin?
Yeah. Wait, think of what b is.
Y is equal to 0.49x plus $4.90. Is it at the origin?
No.
So now we know if an equation has a plus or minus sign on it, is it going to be through the origin? No, it's not. Oh, how interesting. So if I was to tell you, let's look at these wonderful things. By the way, the point that two equations cross, which happens to be right here on this one at 10 songs, okay, that is where they are equal. And if you were to put this in your calculator under y equals, and you were to do y equals for the first one 0.98x, and for the second one 0.49x plus 490, hit your graph. And now we're coming to application of algebraic equations, because you could figure out second, trace, 5, enter, enter, enter. Do you see on my calculator at what point do the costs for these two companies become the same? When you have downloaded how many songs? 10 songs. The charge becomes the same. Oh my goodness, real life application for algebra. All right? So this is representing, obviously, at the bottom of our graph, number of songs. This is your cost because this is your y and this is your x, number of songs. That is cost per month. So I know now that they will be the same if I download 10 songs. What if I download 12 songs? Which company is going to be less? Bliss or eTunes? You think so? I'm going to copy eTunes line in orange. Watch this. What happens to eTunes? It's going up. What about Bliss? But look it. Which one is cheaper after 10 songs? Bliss. So if you were going to have less than 10 songs or less, which one would you want? Bliss. If you're going to have more than 10 songs per month, which company would you go with? eTunes.
Well, I thought that would cost more than
Oh, thank you. I was listening. Okay.
I got confused for a second.
All right. So if you were going to have less than 10 songs, which company would you go for? eTunes. If you're going to have more than 10 songs, what company would you go for? Bliss. So here's a practical application to algebra.
Wait,
Ah. What?
So you can use algebra?
Yes, you can.
That's possible.
All right, let's go through a list back here.
Do we have to do algebra in high school?
Yes. Okay. All right, let's go through a list here. All right. Did we have a constant of proportionality for eTunes? Did we have a constant of proportionality for Bliss?
No.
Okay. Did we have an equation? And what was that equation in the form of? So we could change that just a little bit and say it's in the form of y equals mx. What do you think of that? Okay. What was our equation over here?
Y equals x plus b.
Which is in the form of y equals mx. And I'm going to still put plus or minus because sometimes you subtract your b, plus or minus b. Okay? Is it a constant rate of change? Do they have a constant rate of change?
No.
Really? Let's go back over here.
Oh, yeah.
How much is this one going up by every time?
98.
How much is this one going up by every time? 49 cents, because you start at this. 0 songs cost you 0.49 times 0, which is essentially 0, right? Plus 490. So from 490 to 539, the difference is 49 cents. From 539 to 588, the difference is 49 cents. The difference between 637 and 588 is 49 cents. Do you see that? Because this is your constant. It's staying the same, right? Okay? It's for every problem. So you could do your y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1 and be able to figure out that it does have a constant rate of change. Okay? So they both do. Is their lines linear? What does linear mean? Straight. Yes, they're diagonal, but if you put a ruler next to them or anything with a straight edge, they follow the ruler, don't they? They follow the straight edge, so therefore they're both linear, okay? Or we'll say straight, just so you get that in mind. They're both straight. Does this one contain the origin? Yes. Does this one contain the origin? No. Is this relationship proportional? Yes. Is this relationship proportional? No. And this is the key. Constant of proportionality, the equation, and that it contains the origin. And if it's all those things, proportional versus non-proportional, must have constant of proportionality. In other words, K must be the same for all values of Y over all values of X. Okay? 2, equation in the form of y equals mx. 3, must contain the origin. And usually you will see that in a graph. Okay? So being non-proportional does not have constant of proportionality. Sorry, I have to sound it out as I write it. Equation in the form y equals mx. I'm going to put plus or minus b. So if you have an equation that has a plus or a minus sign in it, division is okay, all right? If you have 9 divided by x, you're still okay. Division and multiplication are fine. You just cannot have a plus or minus b, all right? If you see a plus or minus b, immediately non-proportional because you don't contain the origin. Does not include origin, which is obviously the value 0, 0. And yes, that's most likely seen in a graph, but you can also see that in a table. Now remember, constant of proportionality is different than constant rate of change. Constant rate of change is your M. Okay, constant rate of change is your M, or your slope. Constant of proportionality is the total divided by how many? So it is your directly your x, your y divided by your x. All right. Slope is the change in y over the change in x, and that's when you do y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1. And I wrote you some big notes that you have. It's just kind of like a blah, blah, blah. On the back of your little music download investigation, the line must go through the origin. The line must be linear. Equations of the line must be in the form of y equals mx. Don't use kx. Look, don't use that anymore. Constant rate of change, constant of proportionality. So, here is your answers. Tomorrow you will be getting a paper to do, and you can use your notes. You will need to fill out table just like you did here. You will need to give me a sentence just like you did here.